For performance as method project, I chose the impression management theory, and the culturally relevant communication intensive phenomena event I chose is the Me Too movement. In general, Me Too movement refers to a social movement against sexual harassment, sexual abuse, and other sexual crimes performed by privileged and prominent males. And this global scale movement, joined by many individuals, is a typical example of how individuals or organizations pay a close attention to impression management. With a focus on the theoretical framework, Goffman's conceptualization is applicable to the phenomenon and event of the Me Too movement, and it can help to justify the research hypothesis that the social media platforms not only function as a convenient tool for social members' impression management, but also contribute to collective impression management behaviors among like-minded individuals. Making full use of the social media platforms to push forward the Me Too movement is rational for many reasons. In general, the project or event is highly relevant to the impression management theory coined by Goffman. First and foremost, the Me Too movement is obviously a conscious process during which social members strive to affect the general public awareness about powerful men's sexual harassment, abuse, and crime against women. In this sense, the major goals and activities of the event fit with the definition of the impression management theory. Another typical way for the project to stay highly relevant with the theoretical model is that it also contains and based on the two key components related to the impression management about power dynamics between males and females. In more detailed words, feminists, social activists, and other social members who aspire to support the vulnerable woman in face of gender-related violence are actors who are committed to the personal performance or impression management action. With firm and collective actions, they wish to reshape public mindsets and behaviors towards the female groups and engage more people in the movement of eliminating sexual assault and harassment against female, particularly cases caused by prominent and powerful men in the workplace. Moreover, the audiences which have interaction with these feminists, activists, and other actors in the global settings, and cyberspace in particular, mainly include anyone who is exposed to their demonstrations, protests, and allegations. In simplified terms, the Me Too movement that emerged on the MySpace social network and aims to boost empowerment via empathy among females of color who were sexually abused is relevant to the selected theoretical framework. In addition to the relevance of the project as discussed above, its use of performance as method and the selected theoretical lens is worthy of further discussion. Specifically, the Me Too movement uses the performance as method approach in realization of its goal and emphasis of social media platforms' functionality in impression management. That is, social media platforms connect millions of users all over the world and thus engage as many actors or audiences as possible in the impression management behaviors, resulting in reshaped perception about vulnerability of women in spite of the three waves of feminist movement. In addition, the Me Too movement turns out to be effective and efficient in its application of the selected theoretical lens because of its emphasis upon self-presentation. That is, while many female actors in these movements identify themselves as victims to sexism and gender-related violence, other actors or audiences tend to present themselves as supporters to feminist movement and fighters against such violent or criminal actions. Further still, the success of the event lies in its application of the selected theoretical lens and the social interaction in particular. That is, global citizens involved in the movement tend to generate and maintain new behavior patterns that can empower females in spite of threats posed by prominent and powerful males. Thus, the theory of impression management can explain the impact of the Me Too movement.